Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Final Stallions!
Where to begin?
Chaka Khan.
Still blowing my mind that that song is a Prince song.
Yeah, it is an OG Prince song, I believe, from 79. And that was the title track for what we're diving into today. I Feel For You by Chaka Khan, released on October 1st of 1984. And we are kicking this off to start our Women in Music series part two. We're sending it. You know, Klep had a handful of women that he was about to dive or told me to listen to. And I was just like, dude, let's just run another series, man. Like, let's just run another series. We just finished our debut album series. Go listen to that. Had a kick-ass time diving into some of those, but we're bringing it back to the women. And Klep had the first choice. And Klep, you picked a winner.
None other than I Feel For You by Chaka Khan. That is not the album behind me. I don't have I Feel For You, so we just rolled with CK, which is a different Chaka Khan album, a really good one. It has Stevie Wonder, Miles Davis, Prince, and George Benson on it. So it's a pretty stacked album, I'd say. But so is the one we're about to dive into. And before we start recording, I learned for the first time that the title track is a Prince song, which is blowing my mind.
Yeah, you will have to dive into that other one. I actually did get a chance to listen to it beforehand, and it slaps just as hard.
Yeah, it's one of the few Prince albums I haven't listened to. Like, I don't know why. Like, I've listened to, I believe, all the 80s Prince albums, all the 90s, but like, for whatever reason, just, I've listened to the album before that, but I think this is like the only Prince album in like a 30-year span that I haven't listened to. Of course, it has this song.
But yes, so for those who don't know, again, we're in 1984. At this time, Chaka Khan was trying to balance her two careers because she was lead front singer of the band Rufus from the years, I don't know, when did that band start? 1974?
Early 70s, I believe. Because Chaka wasn't the original singer. Like, I believe she joined in like 4 or 5 albums in, something like that. Let's see, I got it pulled up. Okay, so the Rufus started in 1970. Chaka joined in 1972.
Got you. And I was a little bit off there. It was definitely earlier 70s, but that is an incredible band. Again, she joined, sings on a handful of tracks, all the tracks that she's in. And then we move forward again to 1984 when I Feel For You comes out. And this is her 5th solo studio album, which is crazy to think about, having to just balance 2 careers and being able to, I don't know, I guess complete your commitment to doing the albums with Rufus while continuing to just make your own thing.
Yeah, and Rufus, so they actually disbanded like shortly before this album, like in 1983. So that's kind of crazy. Because, yeah, like Chaka was successfully balancing both careers, and then it's just like, it wasn't like she left the band, like the band was just done. So it was like that aspect of her life just like vanished. And then we get this album. Like, this is the next album that like comes from Chaka after Rufus disbands.
Yeah, and this album just cemented her solo career. Again, with that just title track, and it was the first single released actually. Was "I Feel for You," and I don't know. It became a million, or it became a million selling smash in the U.S. and the United Kingdom. I believe it reached number one in the UK and I guess US pop chart. The song reached 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. It won Grammy for Best R&B Song, I believe, and that was "I Feel for You." Yeah, it
Yeah, I
was.
mean that song is so good. It deserves every award it gets.
Now this album's out of control, and like again, go listen right now to the Stampede Shuffle, which you can find on Spotify. It is the official shuffle of the Vinyl Stallions, and that's how I honestly found out about Chaka Khan and Rufus. Was you putting this on, Klep, and I would hear one, get down, start recognizing the album covers, and then finally was like, all right, it's time to take a dive into this thing.
Oh yeah.
How'd you find out about Chaka Khan and Rufus?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like it stemmed from like Spotify recommending them to me at one point. Like, yeah, because I knew of one song off this album because like it's sampled on a Kanye West song, but I feel like that was not what led me to this album. I think it might have just been Spotify like recommending it to me, honestly. That's like how I stumble into a lot of stuff is just what Spotify recommends based on what I listen to. Like I swear it does not miss a lot.
Dude, yeah, it's definitely great for that purpose. And um so you even said it right before we started recording this thing that like no other album is like this one because it's in the heart of the 80s and it just embraces that high tech funk and like rap and hip hop, and it just has an insane take on R&B, especially at that time, different piano, and it's out of control.
Yeah. No, I kind of love that about artists that were around in the 70s, 80s and 90s because generally like there is a progression like you're talking about where like everything is like super jammy and like shreddy in the 70s and then they discover the synths in the 80s and everything gets like way dancier and like funkier in a way, and then like 90s it just like is all about the songwriting and like doing interesting things that are like unconventional, and like when you see an artist that's present in like all of those eras and like seeing their music kind of like take shape around like the time period that it was released in, to me it's like very cool. And Rufus and Shaka definitely like they fall into that category. Not so much Rufus because like they were gone, you know, in the early 80s, but more so Shaka. I mean, she is featured on an album by an artist that we both really enjoy, Incognito, that came out in 2010. So she's still around. She is still kicking it.
Oh yeah, I'm 70 years old.
Mhm.
I would love to see Chaka one day. I wonder if she still performs. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Look it up, and I'll let the people know. So again, I said I Feel for You was that lead single. Additional hit singles were "This Is My Night," "Eye to Eye," "Through the Fire," which is the one Club was referencing for the Kanye West song "Through the Wire," which we actually did in our debut album series a couple months ago. But yeah, again, brings that techno pop. It just was a whole another electric boogie twist on music and something people haven't heard. But man, the music will make you move one way or another. And it's like horn powered, the strings are there. It's like orchestra disco in my mind.
and it's like funky too.
It's out of control, out of control. But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Is she touring?
Oh no, I'm still getting it, trying to get it to load. Oh, no kidding. So in about 3 weeks, so we're recording this on October 4th. On October 21st in Melbourne, Australia, for Jazz at the Bull, I believe Bluey is playing at this too. Chaka Khan, Nile Rodgers, and Chic.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe Bluey is playing with Nile Rodgers and Chic. I
Like Chick
feel
Corea?
no, no,
Yeah, I was
no.
gonna say Cheek passed away.
Yeah, no. Chic, like the band, CHIC,
Oh, yes, yes,
like
yes.
celebrate good times.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
I
No,
think
yeah,
that's how it goes, isn't it?
it is. No, Chaka's everywhere, man. She's also in the Blues Brothers movie. She gets a
Wow.
solo in the choir part, and I will never forget, like when I saw her face, being like, I recognize her from something.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's like really popular, but she's also like, I feel like if you walk up to your random coworker and ask them about Shaka Khan, like they might also look at you like you have four eyes and not know who you're talking about. But then, like you said, there's just like so many different ways you can like recall where you have seen her, like a movie, I mean, obviously music, like just anywhere.
Dude, Chaka actually just got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year.
I did not know that. Yeah.
Well, it says, yeah, inducted for Musical Excellence Award. So, yeah, 2023. And Rufus
Yeah.
has been considered twice or nominated twice, but has not made it in as a band.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I feel like Shaka's solo career kind of transcended what they did with Rufus. It's longer too. Like, I don't know. She's
Yeah.
been doing this for, let's see when her most recent album came out, 2019. So, and first album came out in 1978. So it's what, 40 years? No,
There,
50
there's
years.
no stopping this woman, is what I'm hearing. Yeah,
Yeah,
shit. I got
so
to
she's
dive in a
basically
little
been
bit
doing
more.
it her whole life.
All right, well, let's flashback now to 1984. Again, the fifth studio album of Chaka Khan, I Feel For You, sitting at 46 minutes, 51 seconds. We get kicked off with an absolute warp of a song. This Is My Night, 4 minutes, 40 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, immediately you just notice like the synths just kind of cutting through everything, and it like definitely, one, captures your attention, but two, just like sets the mood for the whole album because it is very synth heavy.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear Mist, but at the beginning of that song, I hear Mist.
Now I gotta find it and
Oh,
like
fuck.
play it through my headphones.
Oh, I just hit my weenus. Oh, funny bone. Holy shit. But yeah, so it goes in that and then just a complete funk beat. And again, well, as Klep was saying, how artists transcend and something about just that 80s sound in general. It's there. It's prevalent in the first song and like, I don't know, gets you in that dancing, shoe tapping mood.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear what you mean when you're like talking about the mist. Yeah, it's just like kind of like an eerie feeling.
But yeah, no, her vocals as well, like the way she can scream, it's like her and Tina Turner, just who does that the best. And
Yeah.
it's yeah, very prevalent, like at the end of the song, especially when they're all teeing off. And does this song have a fade? Yeah, it has a fade out. Gotta respect the fade outs.
Yeah.
I like don't like I used to dog them, honestly. I used to be like, oh, I couldn't think of an ending. But then sometimes you just gotta keep it going and get the people wanting more to come back.
Yeah, well, and it depends too, and that's where like the sequencing of like the album can be important. Like if like in this album, it makes a ton of sense because like it fades out and then it goes into like a more like calm, like vibey song.
Well, don't tease our fans, Klep. What is it?
So the second song on the album is Stronger Than Before. So yeah, like I said, it's like a slower, like vibey, like kind of like bedroom music type song.
Bedroom music. That's a funny way to put it, but like so spot on. Like,
Like groovy bass just
tuck
in the
me in, give me
background.
that honey and tea, and kiss me on the forehead, mamacita. No,
Yeah,
this
no,
this this is R&B at its finest, though. Like, or R&B funk. Like, the transition is flawless, where it's in the same category, but like, yeah, genuinely, like at the end of the day, different.
mhm.
Yeah, no, that's again perfectly placed. And then it goes into a song that was honestly probably one of the first songs I've heard of this band. My Love Is Alive. 4 minutes and 40 seconds once again. And it's that opening, just synth riff.
Mhm.
Hooked
Yeah,
right away.
yeah, like real the only other two artists I can think of that like consistently use like synth in the way it's used on this album are like LCD Sound System and like Pet Shop Boys. Like this album just like yeah, it just pounds you with the synth. And this one, yeah, it's like what I wrote down on my listening notes was like you're in an electronic jungle. Like that's the vibe. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like you're just
Yeah,
cruising down this like EDM jungle.
dude. Yeah, everything's going really fast. Whoosh.
Mhm.
You're on the Electrodome. Is that Mario Kart map?
Yeah, yeah, this is like Electrodome music for sure.
Shout out to Cot.
Mhm.
Well, we continue to one of the more popular songs on the album, and again, a single I had mentioned, number 4, Eye to Eye, 4 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, we get some more horns in this one. It's like a little more guitar driven, like on the high end versus synths. I mean, there are still some synths, but like there you can hear the guitar cuts through in the mix like a lot more in this song, I think. And yeah, like this probably has like the most catchy like chorus, I think. Like
No, yeah, it definitely does. And this song was a major hit in the UK where it peaked at number 16. And I don't know. I don't even know if we should get in, as we sometimes do, to the cast and crew that is making the beats behind it. But this one has a lot of members on it. It's like Dan and Michael Sembello and John Sembello. Who are these people? They're the writers, the Sembellos, and then Don Freeman is also credited on this one.
yeah, well, and I think we get a pass. I mean, it's a Chaka Khan album, so like yeah, like it would be impossible to go through every single
There are
feature
so
on this
many. Holy
album.
shit! I'm like looking right now, and it's just like everyone. Like, yeah, you play percussion. Well, we're also gonna put you on a synth.
Yeah, there is one mention that we will get to once we get to track 6 though.
I want the world to know. All right, so after Eye to Eye, we go to number 5, which is La Flamme. 4 minutes 27 seconds.
And this, so you just triggered like another thought in my mind because we were talking about like the supporting cast. So yeah, like sort of like when we did the Tina Turner album review, like this is like similar in a lot of ways. Like Chaka is only a co-writer on one of the songs on this album, which like is not uncommon, like especially in this time period. Like, I mean, some of these are covers, so you have that, but then I mean, like a solo artist, it was honestly not uncommon at all for them to like not write their own song. Like somebody who's like really good at songwriting will write it. Sometimes they're famous too, and then it's like, well, we know you would sing and perform this song amazing, so here you go.
Yeah, no, I am looking up right now who played bass on this because this person needs to be arrested immediately because I have been taken advantage of. Because that was one of the nastiest bass lines I've ever heard, ever. Let alone it might take the cake on this album, man. Like that is the deepest, thumpiest. But I don't know. I can't find out who it is. I'm gonna have to hunt him down.
Yeah.
Klep, any leads? Huh?
Well,
Does his name begin with a D, an F, a G?
I guess so. What I could offer is one of the co-writers on it is Felipe Sace, who worked with Gary Burton and Al Di Meola.
Yep.
Who's like he's one of the members of Return to Forever, and then Gary Burton, like he worked with Cheek on like they have a bunch of like duo albums, but that like they worked with each other on a lot of their own solo stuff, like that Captain Senior Mouse, like one of Cheek's like more prominent compositions. I don't even want to call the song. Like Gary Burton is a co-writer on that. And so yeah, Felipe, man, I'm gonna butcher his last name. Sace is what I'll give it. He's a co-writer for this song, along with a lady named Rhonda Roberts.
Wee woo wee woo. We have a vinyl check clap. When we flipping this thing?
Right now. Yep, I was gonna chime in on that as well. So yeah, La Flamme is the last song on the A side.
And honestly, though, these songs are just very well. I mean, they have a comfort zone. Let's just say
Definitely.
of that. More than 4.5 minutes, but like probably under 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, and the music is just generally trancy, like so I feel like it's easy to just like forget you're listening to it, and 5 songs deep, well, already halfway through the album.
And heading right into that title track we talked about. I Feel For You. 5 minutes, 43 seconds. Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said before, I just now, like before we recorded this, learned that this is like a Prince song. Like just crazy. But like so good. Now I kind of have to go listen to the Prince version as soon as we're done recording. This apparently Prince does an acoustic version of it too, which no idea what that would sound like. But yeah, I mean, just an amazing song. Like
it features on the supporting cast a rapper named Melly Mel of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, who is a group I know nothing about, but I've heard their name so many times, and like I need to dive into Grandmaster Flash.
That's incredible.
Chief Cowboy, dude. Yeah. Unbelievable. One day, Grandmaster, I'll be with you. But yeah, so it's out of this world song. I mean, this is such a great take on this song. Again, definitely go listen to that Prince one.
Yeah. And so here's what I was getting at earlier when I said we will talk about a really cool feature on track 6. So I Feel For You, track 6. What is something you notice, like maybe about like 30 seconds in after you get all the like chaka 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 chaka, like all that out of the way, like Is there a certain instrument you notice? Like,
Something that hums quite like a harmonica per se.
and none other than Stevie Wonder is playing that harmonica.
Whoa, what? Stevie
Yeah.
Wonder on the harmonica?
Yes, just for that song too. Like,
Wow. Just when you think he couldn't do anything else, Stevie Wonder comes through on a harmonica. Damn.
which is crazy. I mean, he can play every instrument. I'm pretty sure Stevie Wonder's first album, he plays everything except for the horns. So
Wow.
that's like kind of crazy to think about too. Like he could have played anything. He could have been playing piano, could have been laying down bass. Nope, harmonica.
Yeah, I'm just like reading more about this. Apparently they did the music video. I guess I have to watch that. It was filmed and I don't know, just the only thing that stood out to me on this article was breakdancers appearing in the footage were Shabadoo and Boogaloo Shrimp and Bruno Poppin' Taco Falcon and Anna Lollipop Sanchez, all of whom also appeared in the movie Breakin'.
That is wild.
And the choreographer for all those dancers was Joanne DeVito. Shout out to the dancers in
Yeah.
these videos, dude. I mean, that just gets me hyped, and it's unbelievable how many songs out there, just like as soon as you hear it, like has a song or has a dance tied to it. Like if you can have that level of not only getting a song stuck in people's heads, but like having a dance with it, like you're breaking barriers.
Very true.
All right, we go down to number 7. Hold Her. 5 minutes, 16 seconds.
So now we're kind of back to like the slower stuff, and
Yeah, I felt like I was in Fantasia.
yeah, that's true. And yeah, I guess it's the synth again, just at the beginning. It's just like when you're listening to it in your headphones, it's like kind of panning back and forth
I mean, it
from
might be a
ear
harp.
to ear.
It sounds like a
Yeah.
harp.
No, I think you're right. Or even
And,
like a keyboard just programmed to sound like a harp. But
and,
no,
and then you get
I
about
think
20
that
seconds
is,
in, and then you just get smacked. Back to the funk.
yeah.
And just great horn use as well throughout that song with in the verses. Like, oh yeah, this this album doesn't miss.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like the further you get into the song too, there's kind of like this sense of desperation and it just gets like more dramatic. But yeah, no, I mean it's cool cuz like all the songs are different, but they still kind of like still fit this one vibe, you know what I mean? Like it's super synth heavy and just like spacey and electronic, but still like within that vibe there's just like all these songs have so many different feels to it. It's all funky though.
It is, and it'll bring you right down to another song that you may know some of the lyrics to. At number 8, Through the Fire, 4 minutes, 48 seconds. And again, the chorus of the song is featured Through the Wire, which was probably one of Kanye West's top 3 most popular songs off his debut album.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean just like what a song. Like there's kind of elements of smooth jazz in it too, in a way, like during the verses when like everything's really slow and calm, like the like keys, synths, like what they're doing, I feel like is kind of similar to what a lot of smooth jazz artists do.
No, 100% feel that. And as I mentioned before, this was the 3rd single released, reached number 60 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart, number 15 on the Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart. And yeah, I definitely feel that kind of jazz. And the way that she sings, I don't know, it's flawless. And I feel like I've just heard this song so many times, and without even knowing, I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know. Like we talked about, I guess at the start, like how Chaka Khan, if you ask the average person, they may not recognize her. And I just feel like there's so many more songs out there by Chaka that like have inspired other songs, or I just like know without knowing that it is her.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because like somebody who was like around in like the 80s or 70s will like totally know. I guess what I mean is like, and I should have been more specific initially, like people that are like more like our generation, like millennials or even like Gen Z, like I feel like everyone from our generation knows like Prince, knows like Stevie Wonder, even like Donny Hathaway and like Al Green, but I just feel like Chaka is like kind of overlooked, like I don't know, but she's just as good as all those other artists I mentioned. Or like Tina Turner, like everyone from our generation would know Tina Turner, but like yeah.
It is funny with like I don't know. There's so many bands out there where, especially naive as a kid, you just don't genuinely know if it's a person or a full band.
Yeah, no, I remember when we were talking about Led Zeppelin, like I used to think Led Zeppelin was a person too.
100%. Yeah, like that Dave Matthews Band, like it's not just Dave.
Like his seven friends.
Oh, and they can strum it like no other. But it's funny. So, like, I don't know. There's something that is to be said where it's hard to attach without even knowing what it is. So, I don't know. I guess because I didn't know if Chaka Khan was a band. Rufus sounds like a person. That's a band. Like, the
Yeah,
fuck?
that's true.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of moving pieces, but definitely, I hope if you are listening this far into this episode, you've heard of Chaka Khan.
Yep, maybe just a little.
If not, seek Chaka Khan. Into number 9 we go. Caught in the Act, 3 minutes 47 seconds, which I believe is gonna put us at the shortest song on the album.
And it's the second to last. But yeah, this one's like more of just like a sway back and forth, like very like dark and dingy. Like this is like this is like 80s dive bar music. It's
Yes, holy shit.
like
Spot on. Like, and dude, whatever that is at the beginning and it like goes throughout like the choruses and stuff is like,
yeah, it's like looping. Yeah.
it's out of control. And then the synth play, I don't know, when you reach about 2 minutes 20 seconds in just the jam part, like they are just like cheesy. They're cheesy as fuck.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean this song it's just like spacey, like a little psychedelic. Yeah, like 80s dive bar music. That's how we're gonna describe this song.
I love it. All right, well, sitting at number 10 and even 10 on this album, Chinatown, 4 minutes 35 seconds.
Yeah, and this is the one that Chaka is a co-writer on.
Do they all start out with like just some sort of like and then shoots you into wherever we're going?
Yeah, yeah, it's like kind of reminiscent of like old 90s video game music as well. Like you just like beat a level and like, oh, I'm like in a Mario tube and I'm just like traveling. I'm about to get shot out into another world. Like
And
the beginning 30 seconds of every song is that.
that's hilarious and so spot on as well. And then it just brings in just that funk and like, I don't know, the way like I need to figure out like exactly like the basses. Like, is it all synth? Is it actual bass and with like a tone coming through an amp or different pedals? Like, I don't know. This
Yeah.
sounds absolutely insane.
That's the thing with the number of features to like sort through and then like match up to each track and just like just the sheer number of musicians that were on this album. It's like kind of hard to like really know like in each song like how many layers are there, because then also like each person that is on each track, that doesn't still doesn't tell you the number of layers. Like if one person is recording like 10 tracks, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, these songs are so layered to the point where I almost don't know like what instrument
Is
is
going
making a
on.
certain
Yeah.
sound. Yeah.
I feel like that was all 80s in general. They're like, should we add another synth? Yeah, well, an eighth one should help.
Yeah, but it's just even more confusing because it's not like there's like a regular arrangement with Chaka Khan. It's like different every album.
I love it. I love it so much. But holy shit, man. Again, I have not dove too much into Chaka Khan or Rufus in general, and I think that might be my next dive. Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is definitely worth the dive. Incredible band, and like yeah, on the Shaka side, just incredible artists. Like,
All right, Club. So what were your top three off of I Feel For You?
all right. Yeah. So I feel for you, definitely. My love is alive. And then it's tough. I mean, part of me wants to say Caught in the Act because I'm always a sucker for like the dark and dingy songs. Part of me wants to say Through the Fire. Part of me also wants to say Chinatown. But I'll go with Caught in the Act. We're gonna stay on brand.
Love it. Yep. Stick to that dive bar music.
Hell yeah. All right, what are your top three?
So I gotta give it. I think the one where I was gonna rest the basis was La Flamme.
Yep.
So I'm gonna throw that one in there. And I mean, I Feel For You. I gotta put on there. Like even though it's front runner, I can't neglect it. It's that fucking good. Check
It
Chaka
is.
Khan. And then from there, I will throw in. Like yeah, there's half of me that wants to do Through the Fire as well, but I'm gonna kick it off with what we started with. This Is My Night. I love it so much. And that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. Kicking off again our Women in Music Part 2 series with Chaka Khan. I Feel For You. Fantastic choice, Club.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and yeah, it is. It seriously is a great album. Great way to get introduced to Chaka Khan. Like, it is definitely my favorite album between like her solo stuff and Rufus that I have like discovered thus far. I've probably listened to like about 3 to 4 albums of each artist. So like out of like 7 or 8 total, like this one definitely my favorite. But they're all good. I haven't listened to anything by either artist that I haven't liked. So even if you're not big into the 80s, pick out a 70s Rufus album, pick out the 2019 Chaka album. Why not?
Why not? Why not? Well, again, if you have any suggestions for what we should do in the series or any future series ideas, drop them in the comments below. We're always trying to get the Stampede involved in any way possible.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll continue from here. What will come next on the Women in Music series Part 2? Stay tuned. Besides that, my name is Spruce.
I'm Klep.
And this has yet again been another fantastic episode of Vinyl Stallion.